Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Nissan Acenta, not sure which. Nissan Juke Acenta, and it's the sport version, 1.6. Car's registered PX11ZWH, and mileage at the start of the road test is 138,313 miles. The reason we do these videos, and it's really for cars like this, cars that come in as part exchange and may have one or two things that need mentioning before people come. The reason we do it is simple, is because unfortunately, like lots of people, we've been to see cars that look absolutely fine in photographs or a description, but then to get there and find out it's got an obvious fault which you'd much rather know about, and that's the whole point of doing these videos. Also done on these very quiet country roads in this beautiful part of Gloucestershire, and this actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the hope is it will of course be representative of what you'd feel yourself if you went on a drive in the car. So coming to the car, as you'll know, this has come in as a part exchange to us. We specialise in Honda and Lexus cars, but obviously we do take the odd part exchange in which isn't either of those two brands, and it's also where we're brutally honest, this is possibly the second time I've ever driven a Nissan Juke in my life, so I don't know exactly, in theory what would be good or bad, but I have driven lots of cars over the last 30 or 40 years, and you tend to get quite a good feel for that. But I go through all the usual things and pick up on the issues, and there's, I think, just a couple on the car which I'm going to raise for you, one of them pretty much straight away. So coming to the engine, twist the key, engine starts immediately, settles to a completely smooth, even idle. Temperature gauge, well, I'll tell you in a minute because it's just started, so I'll let it warm up first. So the main issue on this car, as such, is it's got an engine management light illuminating the vehicle. The lady that's had the car previously said that this has been on intermittently over the last couple of years or so. It's never affected the car in the way it drives, runs, or anything. And in the drive I did when she first came in, and drive I done thus far this morning, that would seem to be exactly the case, because the engine pulls really sweetly. It sounds smooth and quiet, got plenty of punch. Put your foot down and it picks up and goes really nicely. But very quiet and smooth, I have to say. But the whole point of, as I said, the video is to pick up on these issues. Were an older Honda, I'd probably put it into workshops, scan it, do all those things. But the fact is, we've put the car at a price which takes this into account. So whatever it needs doing, if you want to do it, that's factored into the price we're selling the car for. Coming on to the clutch and gearbox, clutch of the car feels absolutely fine. It's nice and smooth in operation. Light point's good on the car as well, and there's no sort of squeaks or anything on the clutch pedal when you push it in or out. Gearbox on the car, 6-speed gearbox. Pleasant gearbox to use, I have to say, contrasted to lots of cars which can feel horrible. It's pretty short and snappy in the gear changes. The engagement of all the gears is really nice. All the synchromesh seems really good on every single gear, but to the actual movement, the action of the gear lever feels nice and slick and positive. I can't imagine that's aged very much at all. Then coming on to the steering and chassis, the one thing I do know is that the Jukes always drive nicely. They've got a nice compromise between sort of ride comfort and sort of agility, a bit of a handling. The steering track's dead straight, there's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, but it's quick, it's positive, but what most importantly for me at least, it's really nicely weighted. It's not one of these where you get sort of over light, horrible steering. It's quite meaty in feel, but it's light obviously in terms of manoeuvring, but it's got substance to it. The chassis, again, very comfortable. Only the harshest sort of potholes will catch the car out, as they would any car, but generally speaking it's a very settled, comfortable ride. But when you go through the corners flat, it's keen to change direction, which I really like in a car. It drives really nicely, I have to say. There's no clonks or rattles in the suspension at all. It feels absolutely as tight as a drum. The whole car does. It feels really, really tight. Just going to give the brakes of the car a bit of a shove. They're very good. And I'm looking for particular kind of pulsing or vibrations coming back to the brake pedal, and there's absolutely nothing at all. So all in fine fettle there. Just going to swing around at this point. On a lock, so no nasty clunks or rattling going on, which is good. And then coming inside the car, which very nice place to sit, nice dash design, I have to say. Nice comfortable seating position. I haven't been through everything on the dashboard. I'm not going to pretend I have. I know it's got sat nav, which I can see there is working. There is a button missing on there, which I'm sure you just pop onto eBay and get one of those in 2 seconds flat. But the radio works fine. The only other thing on this car that I've noticed is the air conditioning isn't pumping cold, and that might be something as simple as regas. We don't know. Again, it's not been checked, but it is as it is. And then everything else is just really. It's just a nice. It's a really nice car to drive, and I don't know why I'm surprised, but it really is. So the point of the video is to pick up on the issues. Those are the only two I can find. All the electric windows work. It's a very nice car and offered at a very low price.